All right, today we are going to be learning how to write linear equations of parallel lines. Now remember, parallel lines are two lines that never meet, okay? Never intersect, never touch. All right, so let's talk about this real quick. So remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. That is what our answers are going to be expressed in, unless it is one of our two specials. Our two specials are horizontal lines or vertical lines. Now, here's the thing. When we are talking parallel lines, right? So if we take just a quick look at parallel lines. So for example, here's my graph. Parallel lines would look something like this. So here's one, here's the other. No matter how I extend those out, they would never intersect each other. That's what it means to be parallel. So when you think of that, if they are never going to touch, then the rise and the run has to be the same for both. Because if my rise was steeper, then they're going to cross. If my rise was flatter, they're going to be crossing. So parallel lines will always have equal slopes. Okay? Now, the steps to write an equation of a parallel line is as follows. Number one, you're going to want to list out the slope of the original from the equation given and the slope parallel to it. Remember that these numbers should be equal to each other. Second, we plug the point x comma y and the parallel slope m into the equation y equals mx plus b, and then we solve the equation for b, which is the y-intercept. Then our last step is we are going to plug the parallel slope and the y-intercept into the equation, and that will be our answer. All right, so let's just practice finding slope here to start. Okay, so I gave you an equation, and what I would like to know is what is the slope of the given line. So remember, our equation is y equals mx plus b. So what I do is I find my x, and there is my slope. So my slope of my given line is 2/3. So now what would be the slope of the line parallel to it? And remember, our slopes have to be the exact same. So my slope would be 2/3. Here I find x. There's my slope. So my slope of the line given is -5. The slope of the line parallel to that is the exact same, which is -5. Here, my slope is a +1. So my slope of the line parallel to it is a +1. Now, here's our two specials, just to practice them. X equals 8. Remember, that's a vertical line, and my slope is undefined. So if my slope is undefined for the given line, the slope of the line parallel to it will be undefined. And then the last one, y equals -3. That's a horizontal line. And remember, the slope of every horizontal line is 0. So the slope of the line parallel to it will be 0 also. Okay, so that's just practicing finding the right slope. Okay, so now let's put this all together. So here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look. It says parallel to the equation y equals 1/2 x minus 4 and goes through the point 12, 9. Okay, so the slope of my original equation. Well, remember, it's right next to the x, so the slope of my original equation is 1/2. The slope of the line parallel to it is also 1/2. So now I take that and my point, x comma y, and I plug them in. So it's going to be 9 equals 1/2 times 12 plus b. So now half of 12 is 6. I minus the 6 from both sides, and that gets me 3 equals b. So my final equation is y equals, I take the slope from the parallel, 1/2 x. I take the b, add 3, and there is the equation of the line parallel to the given line. All right, let's try another one then. So this time we're going to be parallel to y equals 3x plus 6 and goes through -1, 5. So the 3 is the slope of my original. The slope of my parallel line is also 3. And we're going to go through the point negative 1, 5. So I come in here and I go 5 equals 3 times negative 1 plus b. So 5 equals negative 3 plus b. So I add 3 to both sides, and that gets me 8 equals b. So now I take the slope and the b, and I plug them in. So y equals 3x plus 8. And that would be the equation of the line parallel to the given line. Okay, let's try a couple more here. So on this next one, we're going to start in. I look, here's my slope. So my slope of my original is negative 2/3. The slope of my parallel line is negative 2/3. I take that with my x and my y, and I plug them in. So I get 4 equals negative 2/3 times 9 plus b. So 4 equals, that's going to get us a negative 6 plus b. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides, and I get 10 equals b. So now I take my slope, I take my y-intercept, and I write it into my equation, negative 2/3 x plus 10. Okay, let's try this next one. Now, this one, for whatever reason, will try to trick people. So if you look, my slope here would be 1. So ask yourself, what is the slope of the line parallel to that? And the answer would be 1 again, because they have to be identical. So I take my point, I'm going to plug 14 into 1 times 8 plus b. 1 times 8 is 8, so 14 is equal to 8 plus b. I minus 8, and I'm left with 6 equals b. So I take my slope, my y-intercept, so y equals 1x plus 6. And there would be our equation. All right, these last two then, let's go ahead and try a couple of the specials here. So this time it says parallel to y equals negative 6. So if you think the slope of my original is 0 because it's a horizontal line, so the slope of my parallel line is 0 because it also has to be a horizontal line. The equation of every single horizontal line is y equals. So I look at my ordered pair. What does y equal? Y equals 9. Same thing on the bottom one here. Parallel to x equals 4. So the slope of my original is undefined. The slope of the parallel is also undefined, which makes it also a vertical line. And every vertical line is x equals. I look at my ordered pair. Here, x would equal negative 2. And that is how we write the equation of parallel lines of a given line and point.